me, Mystic Michaela's spiritual family. Welcome to Know Your Aura with Mystic Michaela. Today, why do people break up? And how can staying in your aura lane keep your relationship compatible? But first, hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys. Okay, so I do have to ask before we even get started.
Yeah.
What is an aura lane?
I kind of came up with this term randomly because I did a Substack about Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds' relationship.
Okay.
And in the comments, we got to talking, and I said, and it's true, most relationships I see break up, even if they're great relationships, when somebody steps out of their aura lane.
Okay.
So an aura lane is just like my little way of basically saying you have a compatibility pattern with somebody, and when you step out of it or change the deal, the other person might not know how to handle you anymore, or it might kind of put pressure on more sensitive areas of the relationship that have not evolved to meet it yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. So let me put this in.
It's like stay in your lane, like when people are like, stay in your lane,
Okay.
like you step out of it and that can cause problems.
All right. So let's see if we could give kind of an example for this. So let's say for us, because I think pretty much what you're saying, I think we actually do pretty much stay in our lanes.
I think you and I do.
Yeah. And maybe that's why things work so well.
Yeah.
But okay, let's say I would assume finances is a huge issue for people.
Yes.
Like that might be if I had to guess, it may be the number one issue.
Yeah.
What people have in relationships, especially as like with family and as they grow.
Yes.
Right. But that's never been a problem for us.
Right.
We've never had that issue. We don't ever have the money issue talk.
Yeah.
Now why? Okay. Well, basically, I handle all the finances.
Right.
I pay all the bills, whatever.
Right.
Everything you have access to, of course. I have a card right by the computer, has all the info on it.
Right. I know what's going on.
Right. You know what's going on, but like I handle everything. Like if I asked you probably now, like what are our monthly bills, you probably wouldn't have, you wouldn't know the exact number.
Yeah.
So, but if you, let's say,
I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's my purple. Like, what? Money?
Yeah. Maybe does he have an offshore bank account? I don't know.
I don't even think about that. I think more just kind of like, I don't know. It's just not anything I like thinking about.
Yeah. So I guess so let's just, and then as an example. So if you then like all of a sudden were like, hey, let me start like paying the bills this month.
Right.
And then doing, the budgeting or whatever.
Right.
Then that would be you getting out of your aura lane.
Yeah.
And then into my
That's
lane.
in your lane.
In my lane. And then it might cause like friction.
That would exactly. And that would upset our balance because you might take it as, oh, she doesn't trust me.
Right.
Or she's controlling me.
Right.
Or I don't like to explain how I do things. I just do them.
Right.
And I think when you don't understand that, we could talk about it here in an aura context. If you don't understand that about yourself, you can start to get mad or have resentment or have bad interactions. When in a relationship where you might understand this better, this energy thing better, you might be like, oh, do you want me to carve out some space for us to have a meeting every week about this? Or do you want me, if we wanted to change how things worked out, we'd have to do it so it still fit in the lanes, not like where I just, move the car in completely into your lane, take you over in a road rage incident, like that. Yeah. Like we'd have to have a conversation about it and rework, I guess, just the pattern and the relationship aroround it. But a lot of people don't do that. And then it just causes friction and resentment and then like breakups.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be like, that's right. Like with stocks, because everyone knows that listens, I do the stocks and stuff. Like I never asked you for any advice with stocks or like use your psychic ability for stocks or anything because it would just kind of that would get into the lane. I think. So I don't ever cross the lane with that.
That's
so
like your thing.
Yeah, it's like my thing. So if you were like, hey, why don't you buy? Actually, there's a funny story where you did cross the lane. Can I tell that one?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. So am I getting off topic here? No. So a few years back, there was this GameStop. It was like, there was this
crazy Reddit thread.
Yeah, it was all this social media stuff.
Yeah, there's a documentary about it.
Yeah, TikTok trend, whatever. I don't know. And then there was like GameStop, and then there was a few other companies that were like this. And I don't remember the company. Yeah. And then like it was all over the news or whatever. Yeah. And when I see that, I don't touch that stuff because it's just that's gambling, and it's
a
fool's play.
My purple world.
Right. So I wake up in the morning, and typically I buy the Amazon stocks, those kind of things. And then I get, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm ready to," and Twitter, it's all on fire or whatever. And she's like, "You got to buy one of these." I think they were called meme stocks, or I don't know what they called them. I
don't know.
But like one of these like silly stocks that was like shooting up because of the GameStop situation or whatever.
Right.
So, of course, I'm like, fine. She's a psychic. She's trustworthy.
It wasn't that. It was just I was just having fun.
So I did buy one of these.
Yeah.
Okay. That is my only loss that I have on my perfect stock record since 2009. Since 2009, I have a perfect record, except for this one stock.
I stepped out of my lane.
And she stepped out of her lane. I did buy it. I didn't buy a lot of it, but I did buy it. And of course, it was a disaster.
It's like but nothing.
It was
like no money.
Okay. It's the record. You understand? It's my record.
That's
of having positive trades.
I don't know if this has anything to do with anything. I think this is just like my purple got distracted by.
Right.
It moved into my world, in my world of like fun trends and aura colors and psychic things. The TikTok algorithm was moving towards like, oh look, people were saying like, I'm like, oh my gosh, let's get in on the vibe. That's so cool because it was like supposed to be this revolutionary movement for people, to get back at the corporations, and I was like, that's so cool,
right? But
it didn't work.
No. So anyway, but okay, so that would be like kind of an example.
Yeah. Okay. I kind of mean more bigger ones that I'm going to talk about.
Well, let's talk about soulmates.
Okay.
And we've discussed this before. What is a soulmate?
A lot of people. Okay, so there's different types of relationships, and I've done lots of different podcast episodes on this. And it's up to you to define what your relationships are. Okay, like I always say that to people, but soulmates feel like home. They're past life relationships that you can have more than one soulmate in this lifetime, and soulmates can get together and fall in love. Although you can also have a soulmate that's like your best friend, or you can have a soulmate that's a family member. Soulmates aren't necessarily like romantic connections. But when they are romantic connections, they usually come together really nice and easy and homey, and it works really comfortably, and you feel very safe with this person. And the whole purpose of a soulmate relationship is to allow your soul to evolve on this physical plane. So you're supposed to leave a lot of room for each other to assist and support and help in this lifetime. But sometimes soulmates break up,
right?
And it's really sad when they do, but they do. And so that's what this whole episode came about from.
Okay.
Because I'll see people who are going through a breakup and it's sad. It's like, oh man, where'd they go wrong? And usually, it's because they changed the pattern on each other without having like a real good sit down about it.
Okay, so now let me ask you about my favorite soulmates.
Okay.
Was it Ryan and Blake?
Yes, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynold.
They're my favorite soulmates.
I know they are. You talk about this often.
I do. I mean, other than us, because we're soulmates too. And we're not twin flames. We're soulmates, by the way. So they used to be a very popular, positive couple, I believe, right? Didn't everyone love them? They thought they were the greatest couple there was.
Right.
Soulmates.
Yeah.
They had soulmate vibes. I think you even said they were soulmates.
Yeah,
right?
they have soulmate vibes.
And they might still be soulmates today.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, but now you did that Aura Doodle, I think it was, on your Substack.
Yeah.
And think, what's going on? They got out of their lanes, right?
They were at this, they've been going through a lot in the media. If you've been living under a rock like Scott, you have no idea what's going on.
I have no idea.
But they've been going through a lot, like publicly or whatnot. But you can tell they're like making an effort to step out on these red carpets together, and it's awkward. And everyone's like, this is awkward. Something's off. What is it? And if you're watching, you kind of feel it. And of course, there's probably stress in their lives. But the way I see it in Aura Color is this, okay? Ryan is green and blue. The way Ryan works is he has kind of his green patterned way of dealing with work in the industry. I feel like he's usually in control. He's setting things out all the time. He's kind of the guy that is running the routes that they're going. He's planning ahead. He's projecting the, map for them. He's mapping it out for her too, and them as a couple. And Blake is a tricolor. She's purple, yellow, blue. Lately, though, her yellow has been infringing, I feel, on his green territory. How I feel like it used to work in the past was Ryan would cut out and create and make sure she was comfortable in her little world. He's like, okay, here's your movie. Here's your project. Here's your line of hair stuff. Here's your whatever. Now go be yellow in that world.
Right.
Okay. Like go ahead. And he'd step out a little. He was there for maybe, Ryan, what do I do about this? Oh, here, this is what you do. He would be there for support or consults or whatever. But really he would let her go be yellow, which is our way over here of saying she was in charge and she could direct and she could pay attention to details and she could be a little managing. Okay. Like that. Okay. But he would give her these like spots.
Right.
That's how I feel like it works.
So basically what you're saying is Ryan sent her off for periods of time during the day to go yellow somebody.
Go be yellow there.
And then
don't bring it home.
When you came back to Ryan. Yeah. Then you wouldn't yellow him.
No, now he's more comfortable with her purple blue.
Oh, okay.
Okay, like you were yellow there, now you're purple blue with me, like that.
Okay.
And I feel like since this whole lawsuit and situation with the movie, and it's just been like a public relations disaster, and then, she's kind of bombed it with the way that she just talks and whatever, because I think she's all over the place with her reactions. I feel like it's been affecting him now. Okay. And he's like, wow. And I like the way I see it is she's probably like anxious and her yellow's like, I told you so yellow a little bit. So it's like arguing with his green. And I can see him just being like, oh, this is a lot for me. Like he's not used to dealing with her yellow. She stepped out of her aura lane. Right. The yellow is for some things, not for dealing with him and telling him what to do. Okay. I'm not saying, and here's the thing. I read a lot of married couples. I don't think there's one perfectly functional couple, okay? Every marriage is freaking weird, and I do not judge. Like there's always like a weird thing, and it can still be a lovely relationship. I think that's their thing. Like you can tell other people what to do. I don't care what you tell the people in your projects what to do. Right. Do not tell me what to do. I think that's like Ryan's thing. Okay. But I think she is now. Anyways, so that can cause a lot of stress in the marriage. Yeah. If they understood it oracally and she was like, oh, my yellow, got it. I think she'd understand it better.
So she's definitely stepped into his lane.
I think she's telling him what to do.
Has his, what do you say his colors were? Green and
he's green blue.
Has his green blue stepped into her lane?
Now what I noticed is, and this is what I drew over on my Substack. I did a doodle. Like he's got kind of a blocky aura, and it used to kind of go over her too, like a protective like shelter. Right. And now it's like less on top of her. It's more like him. That concerns me. I just feel like he's kind of stepping back a little. It just might be because it's hard for him to always argue. I think she's been a lot lately, which I understand. There's a lot of stress, and they've got 3 kids, and there's
they
do?
Yeah,
there's like a lot going on.
Okay,
and I think she's just like a ball of a lot of yellow, too much.
It's just too much,
and he's just like, oh. And what do greens do when you push them too much? Right, they put a wall up. An energy wall. They really do. They can kind of shut down a little. They can step away. They're like, I'll let you figure this out. I'm going to go take a break, something, whatever. So I think that's what we're picking up a little, but it's sad because to me, they do feel like soulmate relationship. They feel like they really get along. She feels like she's definitely loves him. It feels like they're a good little unit. They tried to keep themselves protected in this crazy world. And then this happened. So hopefully they can get it back on track. But I do see this a lot in married couples. Yeah. And it's just kind of like, if you just understand what happened, that you stepped out of your aura lane, your partner has no idea what to do with you. Right. And if we could just sit down and talk about it and re-navigate it, then we could get back on track.
Right. And in this case, it does seem that it was born out of a crisis.
Yeah.
So sometimes that, if things are going smoothly, it's probably, when you're on a highway, it's very easy to keep the lane, right? You can keep it for miles and miles,
Right.
And then maybe when a crisis hits, you don't know how the other people, how are you going to react?
It's like lost in the
then
streets.
You can get out of the lane quite easily.
Yes.
And maybe that's
a great metaphor.
Thank you. Yes. All right. When we come back, well, actually, you're going to talk first about staying in your aura lane.
I want my kids to take a vitamin, but kids' vitamins today can always be lacking something. Some don't have all the vitamins kids need to fuel healthy growth, and others are just packed with too much sugar just to make them taste okay. There really hasn't been a single product that brought all these things in a way I could trust until today. That's why I'm so excited to introduce you to Beam Kids All-in-One Super Powder. It just launched, and you need to get your hands on it today. It has more than 40 essential ingredients to fuel healthy growth, including greens, pre- and probiotics, fruits, and vitamins. And what's even better, it comes in a chocolate milk flavor kids love. It's also co-created by Olympic gold medalist and mom, Shawn Johnson. She created it because she wanted to find a simple way for parents to feel confident about giving their kids the nutrition they need. You simply mix 1 scoop, that's it, of Beam Kids with 8 ounces of milk. You shake or stir or froth it and enjoy, making it a convenient addition to any meal or drink. My 10-year-old makes it in the morning for herself. That's how easy it is. And she drinks up and she loves it. And it tastes so good. I'm going to be honest, I take some sips too. Beam Kids is now available online at shopbeam.com/KYA. Because you're a listener to my show, you can take advantage of their limited time pricing of up to 35% off plus 2 free gifts using code KYA. Get your Beam Kids and your free gifts by heading over to shopbeam.com/KYA. Enter the code KYA. That's shopbeam.com/KYA and use code KYA for up to 35% off. As I said before, this episode was really inspired by all the readings I do of you all when you're in partnerships or marriages. And I read so many people that are just so good together, so they do so well, but they can get off track. And a lot of this is about getting out of your lane, meaning you tend to have a way of using your aura, your energy, when you're around certain people that they become accustomed to. So let's back it up. You have 2 to 3 aura colors, and your partner does too. And that's just how life is. You're going to be using your energy in different ways depending on what context you're in. There's the you at work, the you at school, the you with the family, the you with best friends, and the you with your partner, okay? So you could be blue, yellow, but you could be throwing those energies in different ways depending on who you're with and what's going on and what role you're playing. And usually, like when you're with your partner, that's when you're kind of that's the role you're most comfortable in, ideally, right? That's the role that you're like, oh, this is me, this is home, this feels good. This is the balance that I feel most authentic in. I mean, that's the goal. But things change up, like life changes. Your goals change, you evolve. They're supposed to, by the way. And being in a partnership means that you allow for your partner to evolve and change. And the worst thing ever would be to remain the exact same people that you met. Like when you meet somebody and fall in love, you know that you're in love with their soul, the part of them that is the unseen, not their pattern today. So when in an ideal relationship, there's movement and there's evolution and there's give and take and ebb and flow as we allow ourselves and our partner to move and shift in ways that are good for them and, good for the partnership too. So it's a lot of work. That's why they say, marriage and partnerships and their relationships are work, because you're constantly, oh, they need this. Okay. How's that going to work into the relationship? The relationship's an evolving thing that is constantly editing and moving and including and releasing. So having the stay in your aura lane thing, it's not just like in partnerships, it's in friendships and stuff too. And you'll never notice it more than when, let's say, like your high school friends meet up with your college friends or something, okay? And they, one version of your friends knows one version of you, and your other group of friends knows a whole different version of you. And then all of a sudden you hear, that's so not you. Who's this girl? Who are you? Wow, that's not the, Megan we know. That's basically they're saying, like, your aura combo is totally different in this context versus when you're with us, and that's normal. Or, if you ever think, oh my gosh, I cannot merge my coworkers with my girlfriends. I cannot merge that. They will have zero idea what is going on I can't be me, the same me they know concurrently, and that's just because you're probably just really throwing your aura around in different ways depending on where you are. you know, and I hate that. Like, you're so different. What's this side of you? It's just people noticing your aura. That's honestly it is the way that your energy is set up. But I do notice that problems in a relationship arise when you leave the pattern you typically lead with. And that's what I call your aura lane. So that's how I see the relationship issues start. So let's back it up. Obviously, I'm not a marriage counselor by like any means, obviously. And please, I welcome the Mystic Michaela Spiritual Family professionals in that field to come forward with their language for this, because I feel like I always think it's interesting. I call it aura lane. What's it called in like marriage counseling? But anyways, what I do notice is that these marriages and these partnerships, that's when they really bump heads when someone steps out of the aura lane. And when you bump heads with your partner, chances are one or both of you has started to exhibit an aura pattern or a mix-up, which differs from how you built your entire relationship up around. And you can have your aura mix-up away from them or like in a different context, but chances are the way that you two communicate has some sort of normalized or familiar aura pattern. And if one of you changes it up, then the other person can create like a narrative about it, and you can too. And that's where the problems happen. So, I mean, by the way, you're supposed to intersect your aura lanes. You're supposed to widen them. You're supposed to have conversations about how they're changing or differing or whatever. But if you don't have the language to talk about it, then you can just start creating a weird story that's not true. So let me just give you some examples in aura colors. And these are just very basic and limited and a little general, but I just want you to get the idea so you can get started and kind of go down your own rabbit hole of your own life. So let's say you're blue and let's say your partner's blue. We'll keep it about the other person. And they're in their feels. You know, maybe they're having a hard time at work and they're coming home and they're feeling victimized, you know, and you're like, oh my gosh, like they're never flipping happy anymore. Is it me? Wow, you come home, you're not happy for me? Whoa, okay, they stepped out of their aura lane. You're taking it a whole different way, okay, like that. Maybe they're purple. Okay, your partner's purple. They're getting really social. They're like making all these plans. They want to do a weekend away from you with their friend. Like, what's that about? They're kind of jumping all over the place with what they're talking about. You know, then the narrative could be, are we growing apart? Do they not like spending time with me? You know, are they're being immature, like that kind of thing. When maybe as a purple, they're just trying to find new ways to express themselves or make life feel more free and interesting. And back to the blue, maybe they're just exploring really dark emotions right now, or they're just in their feels about something that's going on and it takes them longer to process. Maybe you have a red aura partner and they just started a brand new workout routine. You know, they've been lifting, they look good. Man, oh, you're in shape. Okay, you're going to the gym. You're like a gym rat now. Like, okay, you turn the garage into a gym? You just bought that machine? That costs a lot of money. Like, really? Wow. And then are they trying to look better than me? Are they trying to get somebody? Are they going to leave me once they look better than I, you know, when red auras are just trying to take control over their body and maybe they're just exploring that. These are just very limited examples, by the way, that I'm giving based off of, this is just like potpourri, like drawn from a hat, little examples of people leaving their aura lane, what that can look like and how it can affect their relationship. Maybe they're yellow and they started school. I'm going back to school, getting my master's degree in something or whatever. Okay. Oh, nobody's cooking. They are constantly, nobody's worried about me anymore. They're not checking in on this. Oh my gosh, there's not the right food in the pantry. Wow, they don't care. Wow, they're just in school. This is what they're doing. This is their whole life. They have their school friends now. Oh, they have to study. I thought we were hanging out this weekend. Wow. When they're just trying to better their life so that they can better the people around them's lives. Maybe they're green and they've been wanting more alone time. They're hiking more. They're taking walks. They're kind of being a little more quiet or neutral and whatnot. Oh, are they distancing themselves from me? Wow, they don't want to talk anymore. You know, and when in actuality, they're probably just trying to find peace in themselves and trying to get comfortable with being focused. maybe they're turquoise and they've started down a spiritual path and they've got their crystals and they're going to some retreat this weekend that sounds really odd and they're doing sound baths and stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, they're in a cult. They've completely lost their mind. There's no talking to them. They've entered the woo-woo and whatnot when, again, they're just trying something new. Maybe they're pink and they're dressing differently and they're wearing sparkles. Oh, are they immature? What are they? They're dressing like they're 6. What are they trying to get the wrong attention? What is that about? Are they trying to embarrass me? So little things like that. And then of course I have to do indigo, and maybe, your indigo, it's like, Dad, I want to go out. I want to be home. I'm comfortable here. I don't need to do everything I used to do. I'm good. Oh, well, they're boring. They're not trying to make me happy. So you can see how in the aura lane component thing, you or your partner could do something and it can get interpreted in a way that's kind of incorrect and can lead to really big problems. And that's what I see happen with really good, solid couples. Now, I talked about couples and evolution, okay? And I started this, but this is how I wanted to end it for this segment. We have to leave room for other people to grow. And it is our ego, which is the human projection of us. It's a uniquely human phenomenon. The ego likes us to stay the same, and it loves to be the negative Nelly in our minds. And when somebody changes or tries to better themselves or evolve or, has a new idea or whatever, the ego immediately is like, oh, this is about you and it's personal and it's bad. Okay. So the ego, we have to remind ourselves and give our ego a little hug and be like, oop. Okay, so when we start feeling these things in a relationship, you have to ask yourself, and I'm not saying dismiss your feelings. I'm just saying, see if you can have a conversation with this person about it, because your partner should be able to also recognize that what they're doing is different. Okay, this is a different pattern. I do realize I've changed it up on the way the relationship works, and they should be able to sit down and have a conversation of why. I'm working out more because I've been feeling I need the endorphin boost and it makes me feel good. And it just makes me feel in control of my body and I feel like I have more energy. And this is just something that brings me joy, and it's just about that. That's what it's about. Do you want to do it with me or whatever, or I'll check with you or I'll work it around our schedule together or whatnot. And I think like just by going to them and having a convo about it, settles everyone down and then reminds everybody that there's you, there's me, and there's the relationship, which is really kind of the third entity when you're in a relationship. There's the relationship, and the relationship is a body in and of itself that changes and grows and moves and evolves and needs nurturing from both of you to keep it alive. There's like you, there's your partner, and then the relationship is the thing that you're both feeding. And I think that is my point of staying in your aura lane. It's noticing that there's lanes in general, where you've stepped out, where somebody else has stepped in, and having those conversations quickly and effectively and lovingly before we go off into whole different highways from one another. So I hope this makes sense. And I'd love to hear your own stories of getting back on track after stepping out of aura lanes. That would be, I think, really healing for other people to read about as well. This episode of Know Your Aura is brought to you by Wild Grain.
Yes, my favorite.
Wild Grain is the first bake from frozen subscription box for artisanal breads, pastries, and pastas. Wild Grain's boxes are fully customizable to your tastes and dietary restrictions, in addition to their classic variety box. They recently launched a new gluten-free box and a plant-based box that is 100% vegan. Best of all, they take the hassle out of baking, since all items bake from frozen in 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup. What was your favorite from this month's box, Scotty?
This month I've been going total pretzel bun.
Yeah.
I am pretzel bun all the way.
What's your nickname?
Yeah.
We're like,
PB. They call me PB.
I'm like, hey, pretzel bun.
Hey, pretzel bun. PB. That's me. PB.
Their butter is the like, butter. Don't sleep on the butter, people.
Yes.
Get the butter, okay? The quality of their stuff cannot be beat. When I say 25 minutes When they tell you 25 minutes or less with no mess or cleanup, that is no joke. Are you ready to bring all your favorite carbs right to your doorstep? Be sure to check out Wild Grain so you can begin building your own box of artisanal breads, pastas, and pastries. For a limited time, Wild Grain is offering our listeners $30 off the first box, plus free croissants in every box when you go to wildgrain.com/KYA to start your subscription. You heard me, free croissants in every box and $30 off your first box when you go to wildgrain.com/KYA. That's wildgrain.com/KYA, or you can use promo code KYA at checkout. Hey, Scotty.
Hey, guys.
Well, I know one way I won't step out of my Aura lane.
Okay.
I will not give one iota of advice when it comes to planning our summer trip that's coming
Our
up.
annual summer trip.
Yes.
Road trip.
Road trip.
Last year, people thought I was insane.
Yes.
Because I planned a road trip to South Dakota and North Dakota.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I planned one to Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oklahoma and Texas trip, right?
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that is true. You never, I do plan the summer trip. You want me to tell you where you're going?
Yeah. I know where I'm going.
She knows where she's going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. I think it'll be great. We're Yellowstone. We're going to Grand Tetons, Rocky Mountain National Park. I actually had to bring out some yellow for this trip.
Oh, did you?
Yes. And there is now, if you want to go into Rocky Mountain, believe this, if you want to go into Rocky Mountain National Park in the summertime, you need to have a time slot.
Yeah.
And I actually figured out how to get a time slot.
That blew my mind because I forget what day it was, but you're like, at 9 a.m. today, they open up the time slots for Rocky Mountain National Park. I'm like, oh, who are you?
Right.
That you'd even know that.
Right. And of course, I did not have my phone with me.
Yeah.
I try not to bring my phone with me when I go out sometimes. And then, of course, your yellow kind of was like, do you want me to do it for you?
My inauthentic yellow.
Yeah, so you kind of stepped out of your lane a little there, I guess.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I set an alarm.
And then, of course, you set the alarm. And then, of course, my red said, no, don't worry, we'll get it. There's plenty of time to get the slots. Of course there's time, don't worry.
Right.
And I think we got the last slot. But
yeah,
anyway.
we did. It was like, we were only like 15 minutes late.
Yeah,
I told you they'd go fast. I'm like, I didn't know this existed, but because I know it exists, it'll go fast. Because these yellows and these greens are on it.
Yeah.
They set their alarm.
Yeah.
They got it all set up.
That's true. But I mean, finally, because Abby's turning, well, she's 10, she'll be 11, whatever. Finally, I think the kids, because we wanted to take them to, we've been to Yellowstone. It was like, what, 20 years ago? No, not 20, almost.
More than that.
Was it 20 years ago?
No,
Something
more
like
than
that.
that.
A little more than that, okay.
Yeah, I think 2003.
Okay, so almost 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But we've always wanted to take the kids to Yellowstone, but, Abby was too little. You can't, it's 4 or 5, 6. I don't know. I think it's too young, but I think now they're at the perfect age.
They can hike.
They can hike and they'll remember it. So I'm very excited to take the kids to Yellowstone.
You are.
Yeah. I think
except for the one cabin.
Yeah, there's the Snake River cabin. Yeah, there is one cabin where I don't know how it's going to go over. There's always like one stop on the trip. Like last year, it was this place in Valentine, Nebraska.
It was okay though.
It was okay. We didn't know. It was called the Harmony Inn.
Yeah. Oh, God. Shout out.
My kids, if it doesn't say Hilton, they get a little like stressed out.
Sound like spoiled.
Yeah, they do. And they are. No, they are. They're spoiled. They are totally spoiled.
This isn't how we originally did our Yellowstone vacation together.
No. We ate peanut butter jelly on
3 days.
Yeah, for 3 days.
Refrigeration.
Yeah. One place I slept with a knife under my pillow because I thought we were going to get killed. But anyway.
Yeah, that was really scary.
So last year we stayed at this place in Valentine, Nebraska called the Harmony Inn. The kids were freaking out.
Yeah.
So there's always like this.
It was fine though.
Yeah. Yeah, it was okay. It was fine. It was not too much complaining.
It's Nebraska.
Yeah. And there was nothing.
It was fine. Yeah.
There was nothing for hundreds of miles.
Right.
Like, except for grass. You even told the kids you're not going to see a tree.
I did.
For 100 miles.
But
and the kids still mock you because there are trees. You do see trees.
No, because we go into Nebraska and it's like the Arbor State.
Yeah,
or
the Arbor State.
And Bree's like, oh, okay, Mom. No trees.
Right.
Like it's called like, I should look this up because I'm getting it wrong, but it's called like the National Arbor Day State or something.
Yeah, something
and she's
like
like,
that.
oh, okay, Mom.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right,
it's pretty funny.
Anyway.
And as soon as, of course, we cross the border, there's a tree and Bree let you have it. But because for months she was talking about like, you were talking about no trees, but anyway, there were parts where there were no trees, by the way. But anyway, So there's always this one place where I can't figure out a Hilton.
Yeah.
Where and this is going to be the Snake River Cabins outside of Jackson, I think, Wyoming. And it looked interesting. I don't know.
Jackson's pricey though.
Yeah, well, there's nothing. There's nowhere to stay.
Didn't you look? Yeah, didn't you like the Motel 6 was like how much a night or something?
I think it was. I don't know if it was the Motel 6 or the Holiday Inn, but it was like $600.
That's insane.
And there is no way I'm spending $600 a night for the Holiday Inn.
I can't. So
we got the Snake River Cabins.
No Wi-Fi. Should be great.
I don't think they said there was there Wi-Fi. It was two. I think it's 2 rooms, right? One small.
I'm gonna be honest,
there's a bedroom.
It doesn't look like there's a Wi-Fi there at all.
I got
the reviews.
The best one I could there because you there was a lot of options for rentals. Like you could actually just rent a sleeping bag.
Yes.
There was
one. Oh my God, that's right.
So
they were like, or just rent a sleeping bag. I'm like, so many questions. Do they wash it?
I don't know.
What is? No, but the reviews on this place was don't go out without your bear spray. Oh, that's what we have to buy bear spray.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
No, that wouldn't
That'd
be cool,
real
Scott.
Cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you have this idea you could like fight off a grizzly, and I just don't. I guess I don't have that faith in you.
Stay in your lane. I'm gonna be able to fight. I'm gonna be able to fight off the grizzly. Stay in the lane. I got this covered.
I'm gonna be like, and I have my bear spray everywhere. You have to practice how to use it first, because I guess most people like spray themselves, unfortunately, or something.
Yeah, so we got that.
God, the anxiety, my inauthentic yellow.
No, I know.
Oh.
I mean, well, you were getting out of your lane the other day a little bit too, because I did book an Airbnb outside of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And it's new. It's a new Airbnb and it had no reviews.
Okay. So Number one, like everybody knows this.
Yeah.
You don't book an Airbnb that has no reviews.
Well, because they're new. They're new. They haven't had anyone stay there yet.
I guess. But have they had anybody stay there since you booked it?
I should check that.
Yeah.
I should check that.
Yeah.
Because I can still change it. There's still time.
That's like number one. And I just seen so many horror movies. It's just kind of scary.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyways.
Anyway, so.
I do get out of my lane when it comes to safety stuff.
Yeah.
And then last time we were in Grand Tetons, like when I was 22.
Yep. We saw all those bear
you,
tracks, right?
Yeah. You took me off the trail. Again, number one thing they tell you.
Off the lane.
I had no bear spray, and I see fresh bear tracks by water, and I was I've never been so scared in my life since.
Yeah, I was a little scared.
Before or since.
Yeah, we got out of there.
And I was like, that was really scary.
That was scary, but we are going back there, so we're going to the Tetons.
Yeah.
So excited to take the kids.
Yes.
Oh, passport update. Passport update. This has been a saga. If you're still listening to this, I don't know why. But anyway, passport update. We got them.
We got the passports.
We got the 4 passports.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yep. The only thing is we have not yet gotten back our documents to get the passports.
Yeah,
but they claim that it's coming in the mail separately.
I trust them now.
So far it's been pretty good. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
All right, so that's the passport
good. All right,
update.
we had to tell you.
We all,
I'm manifesting a trip overseas.
Right. I am not.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway. And then what else? Oh, Severance. We've been watching the show Severance.
No spoilers.
No
Don't worry.
spoilers.
Because also we're not done with season 2 yet.
Yes, we've watched 4 episodes of season 2.
Yeah. Now don't give any spoilers.
Okay, I'll try not to. All right. So it's in like. Can we tell the premise or no?
Yeah, that's fine.
You do that because I'm bad at that.
Okay, so basically, I'm trying to think what's in the actual preview.
Yeah,
if you haven't watched Severance,
don't want to give it away, right?
Yeah, and we're like midway through season 2. But anyways, there's this technology. It's kind of like Black Mirror. A little reminds me of. There's this chip in your brain, and basically you go to work, and when you go to work, you're severed. So there's like a separate consciousness that does work, and then there's your actual consciousness that feels like they didn't go to work, and your work consciousness is called your innie, and then your separate outside consciousness is called your outie.
Right.
But the thing is your innie only exists in that workspace. So every day is kind of like the same day. Like you don't experience like sleep or outside. Like they just go to this weird office, and every day is just kind of like they go in, it's like a loop, a never ending loop. But if you don't go to work, your innie doesn't exist anymore. But it's interesting because as the show progresses, the innies have kind of like thoughts. They're very separate from their outies. And it would be kind of interesting to meet your innie.
Right.
I think. Right, and then ask your innie, like, hey, what do you think of me? Because like one person's innie realizes that their outie is kind of a loser. Or one person's innie realizes that their outie is kind of like evil. So like,
yeah. Like they're, for the most part, they're like totally different people.
Yeah, they're like totally different people.
Do you think it'd be like the two halves of like your aura? Like what? Like if you were an innie and outie, like, and you're not a tricolor, let's say you're just two colors, and like your innie is purple, and then your outie is indigo. Like, is that what do you think it's going on there?
Yeah, that might be kind of that's I think the interesting conversation.
Yeah,
like who's your innie aura and who's your outie aura? You know,
this is what I don't want to talk too much about the show, but I will say I'll give my take on it. Whether I think you should watch it or not.
Okay.
Season 1, it was. I'll give it a good.
Okay.
It was good.
That's a lot for Scott.
Yeah.
That means go watch it.
Yeah, it was a lot of suspense, very suspenseful. Mm-hmm. This is the funniest part about the show that I've been driving Mystic Michaela insane about. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know, for whatever reason, I feel like I've watched this show before.
Oh my God, he's driving me absolutely insane.
Like parts of the show, I keep saying, like, have I seen this before? I know I've seen this before, but I don't think I've ever seen it before. And it's driving you insane.
Yeah. I'm like, Scott, you've never seen this before.
But it seems like I've seen it.
I think it's just because the actors are from other things you've watched.
No, but like some of the things that they do in there, I'm like, I know I've seen that before.
Well, they do seem to take from like 1960s kind of stuff. Like the style looks a little 60s to me, like the set styling a little.
What if my outie has seen it and not my innie, and I'm my innie right now?
Oh my God! And the other thing you don't understand is the innie versus outie.
I know.
Thing.
I can't keep it straight.
You're like, you can't like we're halfway through season 2, and the outies. I'm like, Scott, the outies wouldn't know that. That's like something the innies know, like that, and then like you have a hard time understanding that.
I don't. It's a little confusing.
It's interesting.
It's interesting.
It makes you think.
It's directed by Ben Stiller, and here's all right. So here's my take on it.
Okay.
It's good. They do like a lot of tricks with suspense and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank goodness there was a second season that I didn't start watching it with only when season 1 came out.
Oh.
And then there would have been no second season.
What's the cliffhanger?
Right. The cliffhanger on that would have drove me insane.
Okay.
I would have went to Ben Stiller's house, found him, and choked his green, you know what? Is he green?
His green what?
You know.
His green, you know what?
Yeah, his green, choked his, all right. Okay. Greens.
Okay.
What's with the greens? We all got greened the other day.
Why?
You don't remember? We got greened.
Where?
At when we went to the restaurant Batch. We all got greened.
What are you talking about?
Okay, so switching topics.
I have no idea what he's going to say.
We went out with a group of friends.
Yes.
I think there was like 8, 10 of us or whatever.
Okay.
And we went to watch the Kentucky Derby, which, by the way, picked the right horses.
Yes.
Won. And there was a green guy there, friend of ours.
And
and he went around.
Oh my God, yeah.
To every single one of us. So if there was 10 of us, he went around to 9 of us. He even went around to himself, by the way. And he told us his green system.
Yes.
For getting free nights on cruise ships by playing slots at the casinos on the cruise ships.
On the cruise ship casinos, yeah.
And he went around to every single person and explain the whole system that he created.
I zoned out.
And how it worked. I zoned out too. I was like, yeah, that's great. And I asked a couple of questions and I, just walked away. But some people got real greened. And he went on, like I heard him talking over and over because it's the same talking points. But it's interesting because it's really a passion for him.
Yes, it is.
It's like a green passion.
He's topically interested. And
you always say that greens are topically interested.
Greens will talk about things that they're topically interested in.
Yeah. So, of course, what I did was I took his wife and said, what's going on here?
Oh, she's just having a great time.
And she was like, oh my God, he does this all the time. He shows me all the sheets. He explains the mathematics to me. He does, how many hours you need to play versus how much in the slots and which slot machines. And she was telling her everything. And she said it was like driving her a little nuts at times.
Right.
But I was like, yeah, this is, so we all got greened.
It's interesting because he's green purple.
Yeah.
And it is a friend of ours. And nobody really... it's like kind of a group where they're like, oh yeah, okay, my name's Megan, right? Like, okay, Mystic Michaela.
Yeah, he doesn't believe
whatever.
He's green.
He doesn't understand a lot of this stuff, but everyone in our friend group is like, okay, you're such a green dude.
Yeah,
you're so green because he goes around and he's found this green system to have a purple good time, know, which I think is really interesting. And his wife is blue yellow.
Yeah.
And they work real well because she's yellow. So like when he's doing his slots or whatever on this cruise ship, she's doing her yellow because yellows are very independent. So she does her things. Like she likes to go play the games or, all the cruise ship activities that they do. So anyway, so it's interesting how these people
Yeah, so
out.
they're actually,
they're
I think
copacetic.
they're in their lanes.
Yeah, they're in their lanes. They're
like he's found his casino lane, free cruises, and he loves to get things for free, by the way.
He does.
Which is interesting because he got a free drink when we were there.
He was explaining it to me. They were like, oh, I made an extra drink.
It's almost,
talk about the universe.
Yeah, that's like total manifestation.
I told him that too because he was explaining to me how he got these free cruises. And the bartender walks up to him.
Hey.
She's like, oh, I made this extra drink.
Yeah.
Would you want it? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, wow, she only asked you.
I know.
That's weird.
I know. There was 3 other guys that were trying to get it.
I was right there too.
But he got it.
He got it.
Because he likes free stuff. He likes the free stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're both in their lanes, and then I guess sometimes he crosses over and explains it to her, and maybe she gets a little annoyed. But
no, I think
she likes it. Yeah, because she's going on all the cruises.
Oh yeah,
because they're going on a lot. I think he said they go on like 4 cruises a year.
It's crazy. Yeah, that's cool. They'd go on more if they didn't have the kids in school and stuff.
Yeah,
and work. But yeah, who's the green in your life?
Yeah. Who did you get green this weekend?
Did you get green?
Did you get green? Because we all got green. Because it's funny because then like as I'm walking, because I can't sit still, so I'm walking back and forth, and I'm hearing like the same story to every single person. And he made the rounds. He got to everybody.
He does tell everybody.
All 9 people got the thing. I think
it's awesome.
Yeah,
good for him.
Okay, I think we'll wrap this up.
Oh, wrapping it up. All right.
I mean, if anyone's still listening, I mean, at this point, if you are, I don't know, you really like us.
All right. Well, this podcast is for you and about you, and we're so glad you spent some time with us today.
Are you feeling stuck in your career or lacking employment at the moment? Experiencing symptoms of job dissatisfaction? You might be suffering from a common condition known as career stagnation. But don't worry, there's a solution. Monster.com. Monster.com offers a comprehensive suite of career-boosting tools designed just for you. Our free resume review and AI interview prep tool will help you stand out from the crowd. Need more guidance? Dive into our career advice articles for expert tips and insights. And don't forget to check out our salary tools to ensure you're getting paid what you're worth. Side effects may include a new job, increased confidence, and a brighter future. Consult Monster.com today and take the first step towards your new career. Ready for your next job opportunity? Visit Monster.com now.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.